This week's news from the tubes on F5 Live is proudly powered by Malwarebytes. Whether you use a PC, Mac, or mobile device, Malwarebytes Premium is the company's strongest protection ever. It fights threats that traditional antivirus software can't stop, plus traditional issues like rogues, trojans, exploits, and a whole lot more. It allows you to use your computer and mobile devices with confidence and peace of mind. And to learn more, they get a special price right now. You can go to f5live.tv/malwarebytes. Hello, Internet. Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to let you know we're doing an audience survey to get to know you better, what you like, what you don't, what we might need to change. It's completely free. It takes about 60 seconds. If you go to PLUGHITZlive.com/audience and fill out the survey, you'll be entered for one of 2 CES prize packs with bags and shirts and a whole lot more. Again, it takes 60 seconds, PLUGHITZlive.com/audience. And now, back to the show. Okay, this topic came up while we were off, and it is probably the biggest topic in tech right now, so we definitely have to talk about what is happening over at Twitter. And I'm not talking about the possibility of an edit button. I am talking about the chaos that is the Elon Musk buyout. In time for what would have been our last show before Avram got sick, Elon Musk had purchased 9.8% of Twitter's outstanding stock without letting anybody know he was doing it. He then was offered a board seat, which he agreed to and then declined when he learned that he could not own more than 15% of the public stock. He was like, I've got a better idea. How about I write you a check and you get out of the building? And so Twitter's board of directors didn't particularly take kindly to that. He has made several moves over the last couple of weeks. The current one is he has filed with the SEC that he has secured the funding to go to the shareholders and bypass the board's poison pill and purchase stock essentially en masse, then be able to terminate the poison pill and purchase the rest of it himself. Which is a big deal because this week he is also in court for saying that he had secured funding to take Tesla private, which may or may not have been true. But in this case, there's a filing with the SEC. He actually has the funding to do this. The board of directors has mostly been fighting this until a report today. The board of directors met today, I don't know, in person or virtually, to discuss changing their minds. And they will make an announcement. This is not in the article because this has happened since. This was published this morning, and this has happened since. They met, and by their quarterly call, which will happen on Thursday, they will have a final decision on whether they will change their mind and accept the offer. So this is fascinating. There's been support for and fight against a lot of people who invest in companies and go in and fix companies. Most notably, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful himself from Shark Tank, has said that Twitter is a disaster and he wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole. But if Musk were to make the purchase, he'd be happy to invest, which is an interesting sign, but he's also an interesting guy. I don't know. The whole thing is fascinating because it seemed to start like a joke in the same way that Elon Musk's whole Dogecoin thing started as a joke. But this got real serious real quick.
I think this is, see, what really concerns me about this is that he's buying this because he wants to control. It sounds like he's buying this because he wants to control the speech on the platform. And, for a normal person, $43 billion would be, like, I'm not going to invest in something unless it's really serious profitability possibility. He may just be doing it as an avenue to get across, like, to get across whatever speech that he and his friends want to have because he doesn't like the moderation or something.
It's certainly
I
possible.
mean,
The
I
other
mean,
possibility is that he truly believes in the concept of free speech, and in his head, this is some sort of public service duty. I
really.
he like I said, he's a weird guy. I can't, you can't rule anything out with this guy.
I mean, this
He
is
went he
the
went
thing
on
is
he hosted Saturday Night Live. I think, honest to God, I think specifically to try and drive the price of Dogecoin up. I think that's the entire reason why he hosted Saturday Night Live.
right.
I,
The other thing is that he has used Twitter in ways that control that have affected stock prices, which I believe has come under some question about whether or not
it's
this is actually
it's the thing he's in court for right now. Is
right. Right. So here's a platform that he's used to affect stock prices.
mm-hmm.
Here's a plat, and so there's some heat on him for doing that. Here's a platform that's also, maybe he doesn't like who they've been moderating or whatever. So he wants to buy it. And what for us, for what any normal person, any even normal billionaire would be like, I can't do this because it's not a good business investment,
Mm-hmm.
right? He just wants it to have his way because it's a powerful platform and he can get the speech out there that he wants to get out, whether that's affecting stock prices or his political point of view or something else. I mean, I think that's kind of chilling that someone can buy a popular platform just as a way of of getting out their point of view, and possibly, you don't know, maybe suppressing points of view that he doesn't like. Uh, once it becomes a private company,
Mm.
it's even less accountable now.
Because the SEC is no
It
longer involved.
Right, it's even less accountable. I have not heard anything that he said that involves actually creating more, I don't know, value with the company. And if it's private, I guess nobody's to care, right?
Well,
If it's creating
so
value or not.
here's the reason why I'm not currently headed in that direction mentally. He has leveraged his ownership in Tesla to secure the funding to do this, which is
He's not
which
going to
is
be poor no matter what happens.
that's true. But Tesla's like his baby, so I he didn't leverage SpaceX. He didn't leverage Boring. Uh, he leveraged Tesla.
I think it's his ego, and he wants this because it's his ego.
I
That's what I think.
I definitely think his ego plays a huge part in this.
I mean,
For
I,
sure.
I mean, I don't know if there's any type of, I don't know, congressional approvals that have to take place for this type of a takeover, but like this is a very,
I don't
his
think so.
motives in doing
This is
this
basically
takeover
the
are very suspect.
this is basically the 1980s, right? The era of the corporate raider. This
Yeah.
is the kind of behavior that happened every day during the 80s.
Right. Okay. Well,
So I
all
don't
I can say
so I
is,
don't think there'd be any congressional oversight, which is that was my only point there. This was
yeah,
such a common behavior in the 80s that I can't imagine. Although
yeah.
federal judge rented a naughty video, and so a federal law went into place that you couldn't share rental history. But you never know what Congress gets themselves into or doesn't. They get themselves into weird things that they shouldn't and don't do things that they should. So I don't know. Maybe there is.
yeah. I
They
don't know, but
investigate
it just
baseball all the
seems.
time.
I mean, this is becoming something that is almost like a public utility.
Mm-hmm.
It is that well used. This and Facebook. However, you know what? If it turns to trash, if people are unhappy with his ownership, then this would open up an opportunity for others.
Sure.
Just because Twitter is only successful because of who is on it and the people are using it.
Mm-hmm.
The minute that uh, it becomes uncool to use, people think it's a cesspool, people aren't happy with the ownership, is the minute that another company can come along and
Something
create
else.
another platform. Now,
Look at
now
MySpace.
the yes. Now, what I do think this all points to is if you're really concerned about free speech or whatever and you don't want moderation, content moderation, maybe we should go to an open protocol. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
like there used to be with Usenet. Maybe instead of a corporate run social network like Twitter or Facebook, where there's a constant push pull between that company's desires
Mm-hmm.
and whatever you want to consider to be free expression, you
Or
could
just the
have a
desires of the
decent
or just the desires of the users, whatever that means.
right. Right. I mean, it's always a challenge whether you're going to moderate stuff, right? Because you have, um, because if something is a fount of misinformation, like, that's not great either. But on the other hand, if you have something where it's clear that nobody owns it and nobody runs it, and it's an open source type of thing, maybe that's the solution, right? Maybe you use something like the blockchain, I don't know,
Mastodon.
to
Sorry,
you know
Mastodon is a platform that's open protocol. Nobody's in charge.
I
Something that
mean,
I was
that
introduced to
obviously
a couple of weeks ago. I've been
hasn't really
investigating it.
caught on much
No,
yet, but
no, but if a black hole were to open up and swallow Twitter, all of a sudden there's a power
but
vacuum that lots of new because nobody had heard of Facebook either, right?
right, right,
Until
right.
MySpace started
I mean,
allowing auto playing music and crap.
I would like to see something that was not like, again, you would of course have it, there would of course be issues with, trolls and moderation and stuff. So I don't know exactly how you would handle it, because if you decentralize and you
Mm-hmm.
just say like, here's the tools, here's the tools, now communicate, um, then obviously people will need to be able to block folks. There will be all kinds of spam, whatever. But you won't have this sort of the target, you won't have a business that has ulterior motives.
Right.
Whether the business is biased in some way about the information, like they like one point of view or not another, or whether they're just biased in favor of doing things that make it ad friendly, which that or result in more engagement. I mean, for
Right.
example, Facebook, right? As a lot has come out about Facebook trying to show you more things that they think will make you angry, right?
Yes.
Uh, and the bias there isn't that Facebook has a point of view. I mean, they maybe they do, but the bias there isn't that they support this position or that position or whatever. It's that they support you being angry because they know that's engagement, and
Mm-hmm.
engagement is their incentive. So,
Right.
like, I really think this is an area where the privatization on the internet has been bad. Making it even more private to be owned by the wealthiest man in the world is definitely not going to help. Um, so, but maybe using open technologies like the blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
uh, we could people could come toward like a common protocol, and it
Yeah.
may be messier because there won't be the same kind of moderation. Or maybe what you do is you have the open protocol and then you can come through someone's server that moderates it, like, oh, you
Oh,
want the
that's interesting.
unfiltered version, here you go. But also, like, Google or somebody will have like a kind of like an RSS reader almost, right? Like,
Yeah.
they will have something where, okay, we're going to provide you with like the catered version, right? And we're going to block trolls and we're going to block spam and all that stuff so you don't see it. But I mean, I don't know, it just feels like it's all been a step down since I started on the internet and we had Usenet groups, which were open news groups where people could publish anything,
Yep.
and there was no moderation, and there was a lot of horrible stuff going on there. But at the same time, it was
4chan. Oh, I'm
very
sorry.
it
Oh,
was very
I think
open,
I
right?
just coughed
It,
4chan.
so I mean, maybe you have like different companies offering a moderation layer of the on top of like the thing which is decentralized. But if we had an open standard for this, like all the
Yeah.
things that we have an open standard for now, if one company controlled them, we would be in the internet would have never happened.
Right. Email.
If we didn't have an open email, if we didn't have an open HTTP World Wide Web with HTTPS and
Uh-huh.
HTTP, right? Where would we be?
FTP.
So FTP, right? So all the open standards that we have that have really made the internet what it is, and now you have the privatization into a couple of social networks
Yeah.
which have their own agenda. It's not been good. I think it's been very bad, and but everybody has to participate in it or feels like they need to participate in it because that's where other people are.
Right.
So I would actually hope that people see this as maybe an opportunity for another social network to rise that is an open one, that is decentralized and not based on the whims of a particular company, because no matter whether you like the owner or not, right? Like I liked Google a lot too, but Google Plus, their whim was it wasn't successful enough for them to keep maintaining.
Right.
So
Yeah. Especially after that security issue.
right.
They're like, all right, well, that's enough. But yeah, that's a great pitch. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, we're gonna know how weird this is gonna get before Thursday of this week. So my feelings are we will probably be circling back on this on the next show. We'll see what happens, but something tells me that we'll be circling back on this real soon. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course, hit the notification bell because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.